You can see here the selected project file opens in the drawing window in the second floor structural plan view. Now, the next section of this tutorial is rotating the structure of foundations. In this section, you will select some of the structure of foundations in the entry project view and rotate it. To rotate the structure of foundations, double-click on the entry node in the structural plans view of the project browser to open the corresponding structure of floor plan view. You can see here, entry structural plan view is displayed. After that, place the cursor on the structure of foundations located at the intersection of grid 3.1 and C. You can see here, the structure of foundation is highlighted. Then, click on the highlighted foundation to select it. After that, choose the Rotate tool from the Modify Structure of Foundation contextual tab. A dash preview box is displayed around the selected foundation. Then click on the angle edit in the options bar and enter 90 and then press enter. See here the selected structure of foundations is rotated by 90 degrees about its center. Next, place the cursor on the structure of foundation located at the intersection of grids 3.1 and G2. Then click to select the highlighted structural foundation. After that, repeat the procedure to rotate the selected structural foundation. Select Rotate tool from the Modify Structural Foundation contextual tab. Enter 90 degree angle and press enter. Now you can see here the selected structural foundations is rotated by the 90 degree. After that, choose the Modify tool from the Select panel to exit the selection. Now, we are going to see the next section, that is rotating columns. In this section, you will rotate some of the structural columns in the structural model. To do so, place the cursor on the column located at the intersection of grid 4 and grid T. Then click on the highlighted column to select it. You can see here, after selecting the highlighted column, Modify Structural Columns contextual tab is displayed. After that, choose the Rotate tool from the Modify panel of Modify Structural Column contextual tab. See, here a dash preview box is displayed around the structural column. After that, in the options bar, click in the angle edit box and enter 90 and then press enter. The selected column is rotated 90 degrees above its center. Next, repeat the procedure to rotate the columns located at the grid intersection, grid 4, grid E, and grid 5, grid D, and then grid 5, grid E. After rotating the desired column, the structural plan view at the entry level appears like this. Now, the next section is adding beams to the roof level. In this section, you will add beams to the columns that are projected to the roof level. To do so, double-click on the roof node in the Structural Plans pane of Project Browser. Next, invoke the beam tool from Structure panel of Structure tab. Next, in the Properties panel, ensure that the concrete rectangular beam 12 inches by 24 inches option is selected in the Type Selector drop-down list. Now, using the beam tool that is already invoked, add beams between the grid intersections such as G14 and E4, then E4 and D4, then D4 and B4, after that B4 and B5, B5 and D5, D5 and E5, then E5 and G15, and last G15 and G14. Next, choose the Modify tool from the Select panel and then select the beams created in the previous step by using the Control key. And in the Properties tab, replace the existing values in the value fields of Start Level Offset and End Level Offset parameters with -1 feet. Then choose the Modify tool to exit from the current selection. And the last section of this tutorial is saving the project. You can see here the selected project file opens in the drawing window in the second floor structural plan view. In the next section is copying and pasting the structural elements. In this section, you will select the columns, beams, and floor listed in the second floor structural plan view. Copy them to the clipboard and then paste them to the roof level. To do so, ensure that the second floor is selected in the structural plan set. Now, press and hold the mouse button and drag the cursor down diagonally and place it in the area bounded by the grid 7 and grid A'. On dragging the cursor down, a selection window emerges from the start, and all the elements that are enclosed completely inside the selection box get highlighted. Then, release the left mouse button to specify the endpoint of the selection box. You can see here all the elements inside the selection box are selected. After that, choose the filter tool from the selection panel. You can see here the filter dialog box is displayed on the screen. In this dialog box, choose the check none button and then select floors, structural columns, and structural framing primary checkboxes. And then choose apply button and then OK button to apply the filter to the selection and close the filter dialog box. Then invoke the copy to clipboard tool from the clipboard panel. Then invoke the align to selected levels from the page dropdown. You can see here the select levels dialog box is displayed. In this dialog box, click on the roof option and then choose OK button. The select levels dialog box is closed. Here, the selected elements are copied and pasted at the roof level. After that, choose the Modify tool from the Select panel to exit from the current selection. Then the next section we are going to see that is rotating structural formations and the columns. In this section, you will rotate some of the structural columns and the formations. To do so, double-click on the engineer in the structural plan set. Then place the cursor over the structural column located at the grid intersection A-3. You can see here the structural column is highlighted. Then click to the highlighted structural column. Next, press and hold the Control key and click on the structural foundation located at the same grid intersection. You can see here the structural foundation is added to the selection. Now, release the Control key and choose the Rotate tool from the Modify panel. Notice that a preview box in the dashed line is displayed around the selected element. Then, in the options bar, type 90 in the angle edit box and press enter. You can see here the selected column and the structural foundation are rotated by 90 degrees. Then, repeat steps to rotate columns and foundations at the grid intersection B-3, B-2, and A-2. After rotating the desired structural foundations and columns, choose the Modify tool from the Select panel to exit the selection mode. Then the next section is deleting columns and structural foundations. In this section, you will delete some of the structural columns and foundations. To do so, place the cursor over the column at the grid intersection A-1. You can see here the structural column is highlighted. Click to select the structural column. Press and hold the Control key and select the structural foundation located at the same grid intersection. Next, click on the column and then click on the structural foundation located at the grid intersection B-1. Then release the Control key and choose the Delete tool from the Modify panel. You can see here the selected elements are deleted from the project. In the next section is mirroring the structural elements at different levels. In this section, you will mirror the left section of the structural model using grid 4 as mirror axis. To do so, double-click on the foundation level node in the structural plan set. Next, place the cursor between the grid C and grid 9. Then, press and hold the left mouse button and drag the cursor downward and place it between grid 7 and grid A'. After that, release the left mouse button. You can see here the elements within the section box are selected. Then, choose the Filter tool from Selection panel. You can see here the filter dialog box is displayed on the screen. In the filter dialog box, clear the foundation fan direction symbol checkbox and then choose the apply button and then OK button. The filter is applied to the selection and the filter dialog box is closed. Then choose the Mirror Pick Axis tool from the Modify panel. You can see here the Modify Multi-Select contextual tab is displayed. Notice that the mirror symbol appears with the cursor. Then move the cursor and place it over the grid 4. You can see here the grid 4 is highlighted. Then click at the highlighted grid. See here, the selected elements are mirrored along the grid 4. Now, double-click on the second floor node in the structure plan save. Next, create a selection box similar to that created using the previous steps. Then choose the filter tool from the selection panel. In this dialog box, choose the check none button and then select the floors and structural framing primary checkboxes. After that, choose the apply button and then OK button. Then select the mirror peak axis tool from the modify panel and then select the grid 4. You can see here the selected elements are mirrored. Then double-click on the roof node in the structural plan set. Next, create a selection box similar to that created previously. Then choose filter tool from the selection panel. In this dialog box, ensure that the floors, structural columns, and structural framing primary checkboxes are selected. Then choose apply button and then OK button. The filter is applied to the selection and the filter dialog box is closed. Then repeat the steps to mirror the selected element. You can see here the selected elements are mirrored. Then choose Modify tool from the Select panel to exit the selection mode. Then we are going to see the next section, that is adjusting the height of columns and offset of beams. In this section, you will adjust the height of the columns and also offset of beams. To do so, place the cursor over the column located at the grid intersection C7 and click when it is highlighted. Next, right-click and choose the Select All Instances and choose the Visible in View under the Select All Instances drop-down. You can see here all the rectangular concrete columns displayed in the roof structural plan view are selected. Click in the value field of the base offset parameter and replace the existing value with 0. Then choose the Apply button. After that, double-click on the second floor node in the structural plan set. Then move the cursor and place it over the column located at the green intersection B-6 and click when it is highlighted. Then right-click on the screen and choose the Visible in View option from Select All Instances drop-down list. You can see here all the W-shaped columns displayed in the second floor structural plan view are selected. Then in the Properties palette, click in the value field corresponding to the top of Save. Delete the existing value and enter -5 each and then choose Apply button. Next, place the cursor on the beam located at the grid intersection B-5 and A-5 and then click when it is highlighted. Then right-click on the screen and then choose the Visible in View option from the Select All Instances dropdown. You can see here all the W-shaped beams displayed in the second floor structural plan view are selected. Next, in the Properties palette, click in the value fields of the start level offset and the end level offset parameters and replace the existing values with -5 inches and then choose Apply button. Now, the last section of this tutorial is saving the project. In this section, you will save the project file using the Save As tool in the second floor structural plan view. Then, move the cursor above grid A and place it on the grid 1. You can see here the grid 1 gets highlighted. Click and then move the cursor to the right and place it on grid 2. Next, click when the grid 2 gets highlighted. You can see here the dimension between grid 1 and grid 2 is just filled. After that, move the cursor over grid 3 and click when it gets highlighted. By following this procedure, provide the dimensions till grid 5.1. Note that you can place the dimensions based on your requirement. Next, repeat the procedure and add dimension for all horizontal grids from grid A and grid R. Then press Escape to exit the tool. Now, the next section is adding tags to foundations, columns, and the slab. In this section, you will add the tag to foundations, columns, and the slab in the infrastructure plan view. First of all, ensure that the Annotate tab is chosen, and then invoke the Tab All tool from the Tag panel. You can see here, Tag or Not Tag dialog box is displayed. In this dialog box, select the checkbox corresponding to the structural foundation tags category in the category column. Next, select the checkbox corresponding to the structural column tags category with the structural column tag as loaded tag. The selected category is highlighted. Then, choose the Apply button from the Tag or Not Tags dialog box, and then close OK. You can see here the selected tag categories are displayed in the infrastructure plan view. Next, choose the Tag by Category tool from the Tag panel or Annotate tab, and then place the cursor over the structural foundation slab. You can see here the structural foundation slab is highlighted. Click on the highlighted slab when a preview of the tag appears. The foundation slab tag is added to the foundation slab. Then press the Escape button twice to exit the selection mode. Now we are going to see the next section, that is adding the beam annotation. In this section, you will tag the beams displayed in the second floor structural floor plan view. To do so, double-click on the second floor node in the structural plans pane of the project browser to open the corresponding structural floor plan view. Ensure that the Annotate tab is chosen. Then, choose the Beam Annotations tool from the tag panel. The Beam Annotations dialog box is displayed. In the placement area of this dialog box, ensure that all beams in current plan view radio button is selected, and then select the Remove Existing Beam Tags and Spot Elevations checkbox. Next, in the Annotation Location and Type area of this dialog box, ensure that the Label B in Plan tab is chosen. In this tab, browse the button located at the middle of the image of beam. You can see here the Select Annotation Type dialog box is displayed. In the Select a Remain to Place area of the Select Annotation Type dialog box, ensure that the Structural Framing Tag radio button is selected. Then, in the Structural Framing Tag area, click in the Type drop-down list, and then select the Structural Framing Tag box from this drop-down list. After that, choose the OK button. The Select Annotation Type dialog box is closed. Next, in the Label Beam in Plan tab of the Beam Annotations dialog box, choose the Browse button located at the mid of the image of the beam. You can see here the Select Annotation Type dialog box is displayed. In the Select Element to Place area of the Select Annotation Type dialog box, ensure that the Spot Elevation radio button is selected. Then, in the Spot Elevation area of this dialog box, select the Beam Elevation Relative option from the Type drop-down list, and then select the Entry option from the Relative Base drop-down list. After that, select the Top and Bottom Elevations option from the Display Elevation drop-down list. Then choose OK button. The Select Annotation Type dialog box is closed. Next, choose the OK button from the Beam Annotation dialog box. The Beam Annotations dialog box is closed again. And then, the beam annotations are added to the all beams placed in the view. Finally, you are going to see the section that is saving the project. In this section, you will save the project file by using the Save As tool. To do so, go to the File menu and choose the Project option from the Save As menu bar. Then we are going to see the next section, that is dimension the grid lines. In this section, you will place dimension for the grid lines displayed in the Structural Plan view. To do so, double-click on the entry node in the Structural Plans heading of Project Browser. You can see here on the screen, the Structural Floor Plan view at the entry level is displayed. Then go to the Annotate tab, click on it, and choose a line tool from dimension panel. You can see here in the modify place dimensions contextual tab is displayed. Then in the properties palette, ensure that the linear dimension style arrow 3 by 32 inches array is selected in the type selector drop-down list. See, here the type properties dialog box is displayed on the screen. In this type properties dialog box, choose the duplicate button. See, here the name dialog box is displayed. In the name dialog box, enter greeting 1 by 8 inches in the name edit box and then choose OK button. The name dialog box is closed. Then in the type properties dialog box, click in the value field corresponding to the tick mark. You can see here the down arrow is displayed in the click field. Click on the down arrow. Then select the diagonal 1 by 8 inches option. Next, click in the value field corresponding to the text size parameter and enter 1 by 8 inches to replace the existing value. Then choose OK button. You can see that the type properties dialog box is closed. Then in the drawing area, move the cursor below grid A and place it on grid 9. You can see here the grid 9 is highlighted. Then click on the highlighted grid. Then move the cursor toward right and place it on grid 8 and then create when the grid 8 is highlighted. Then again move the cursor toward right and place it on the grid 7. You can see here the grid 7 is highlighted. Then click on the highlighted grid. You can see here the horizontal dimensions are created for grid 7 and 9. Then move the cursor down near the grid 8 and click the dimension grid placed. Then move the cursor and place it near the grid bubble of grid A. Then click on the grid A when it is highlighted. Then move the cursor in an upward direction and click on the grid B. Then move the cursor toward grid C and click when grid C is highlighted. The align dimensions are created between the horizontal grid lines A, B, and C. Then choose the Modify tool from the Select panel. The selection is clear. The Modify Place Dimensions contextual tab is displayed. Then in the Properties panel, select the Angular Dimensions type, diagonal 3 by 32 inches area option from the Type Selector drop-down list. Then choose the Edit Type button. You can see here the Type Properties dialog box is displayed on the screen. In this Type Properties dialog box, choose Duplicate button. The name dialog box is displayed. In this name dialog box, enter grid, dim, and 1 by 8 inches in the name edit dialog box. Then choose OK button. Then in the Type Properties dialog box, click in the value field corresponding to the tick mark parameter. Then select the diagonal 1 by 8 inches option from the drop-down list displayed in the field you click. Next, click in the value field corresponding to the text size parameter and enter 1 by 8 inches to replace the existing value. Then choose OK button. You can see here the Type Properties dialog box is closed. Then move the cursor near the grid bubble of grid 7 and place the cursor on grid 7. See, here the grid 7 gets highlighted. Then click on the highlighted grid and move the cursor toward right and click on grid 6. You can see here the angular dimension is displayed between the grid 7 and grid 6. Then move the cursor near the grid bubble 7 and click to place the angular dimension. Using the same procedure, create angular dimensions from grid 6 to grid 1. Then press Escape key twice to exit the selection mode. Then we are going to see the next section, that is adding the foundation and columns tags. In this section, you will add tags to the foundations and columns displayed in the entry-level view of the structural floor plan. To do so, choose Tab on tool from Tab panel. You can see here the Tab or Not Tag dialog box is displayed. Then select the checkbox corresponding to the structural column tags category. Then select the structural column tag 45 structural column tag option from the drop-down list. Select the checkbox corresponding to the structural foundation tags category. Then choose the Apply button and then OK button. You can see here the Tag or Not Tag dialog box is closed and the columns and foundations tags are displayed. Then the next section of this tutorial is adding beam annotations and floor tags. In this section, you will add beam annotations and floor tags to the second floor structural plan view. To do so, double-click on the second floor node in the structural plan set of project browser. You can see here the structural plan view at the second floor level is displayed on the screen. Then choose the beam annotations tool from the tag panel. Here, the beam annotations dialog box is displayed on the screen. Then, in the placement area of the beam annotations dialog box, ensure that the all beams in current plan view radio button is selected, and then select remove existing beam tags and spot elevation state box. Then choose OK button. The beam annotations dialog box is closed and the tags are added to all the beams displayed in the view. They choose Tag by Category tool from Tag panel. You can see here the modified tag contextual tab is displayed. And then in the options bar, choose Tags button. The Noted Tags and Symbols dialog box is displayed. In this dialog box, choose the Note Family button. See, here the Note Family dialog box is displayed on the screen. In this dialog box, choose the structural folder under Annotations folder. Open it. Then choose Slab tag and choose Open button from Note Family dialog box. Next, in the Loaded Tags and Symbols dialog box, choose OK button. You can see here the Loaded Tags and Symbols dialog box is closed. Then, place the cursor on the structural floor placed in the left wing of the structural model. You can see here the floor gets highlighted and a preview of the tag appears. Then click on the highlighted floor. See here, the floor tag is added to the structural floor. Next, click on the other two floors and add their corresponding tags. Then press the escape twice to exit the selection mode. Then the last section of this tutorial is saving the project. To save the project, go to the File menu. Click on it and choose Project option from Save as menu.